Another bad headline burning through the night. Everybody carrying invisible fights. Eyes locked down on another glowing screen, trying to hold together fractured dreams. People losing hope in the noise and fear, but a real voice cuts when somebody is near. One conversation can break the weight, pull somebody back before it's too late. Raise your voice, let it out. We survive when we talk this out. Devil's advocate, showing us the way. Getting hyped for a better day. Hands together through the fire and rain. We are not alone in the pain. Devil's advocate, showing us the way. Getting hyped for a better day. Turn the darkness into something bright. Keep each other standing. No fake heroes coming down the line, just real people giving real time, sharing truth when the world feels cold, keeping human hearts from growing old. Every laugh, every story, every late night call, tiny sparks keeping hope alive for all. We push back when we stand as one, even long nights eventually see the sun. Talk louder, stay closer, carry each other forward. No surrender, no silence, keep the fire alive.
Yo, Laughing Man, what is up, my brother? What is up? How you doing? I love it. Here first. I love it, my brother. All right, guys. Thank you for being here. I just came back from my daughter's 8th grade graduation, so she's going to be entering high school. Oof. Man, I feel old. All right, let's get started. So tonight, it's going to be a chill stream. Just reacting to some clips and just, shooting the shit, right? We're just reacting some shit stuff. Nothing crazy in particular. If you want to join, if you want to react with me, I don't want to get rid of you. I love you, my brother. I love you. All right, I do. You're amazing. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. But yeah, ain't gonna be doing much today. Just reacting to some videos. Thank you. Let's get started.
I think that woman.
All right. Oh, like I said, right? If you want to react to some videos with me, link is in the chat. If you want to react to videos with me. I'm just checking out some videos. I mean, I put a hold on collecting, right? I have a hold on collecting right now. Because like seriously, all the collecting has like at one point, right? All the collecting has drained a hole in my pocket, right? So with all the bad choices I made in life, and then my obsession with collecting, I was in a deep, financial hole. So right now, I'm in my phase where I'm building, right? I'm building myself financially. So one day, okay, if I'm doing well financially, right now I'm okay. but exceedingly well financially. I'm definitely going to go start back my hobby. So yeah, but I definitely want to get back to collecting. I really do. I love collecting. It's just that it's pricey, and I have a lot of obligations. I need to save my money, and I need to build. Right. I want to be a success story, some sort. Right. My own success story. All right, so I'm going to be reacting to a few whatever podcast clips. I always like checking them out.
Men undergo a lot of oppression all throughout history, and I believe that society's catered towards men. And I believe that if a man is unsuccessful in today's society, which a lot of men are, then like how do you expect me to be successful when society is geared and catered towards men? Women have to accomplish not just that, but
I kind of like both, right? I like historical things in the sense of in the geeky realm, right? I like historical things in the geeky realm, right? I don't collect antiques, right? But like there, some of these are, these are historical, right? So I kind of like I like collecting historical geeky items.
also ideology.
Well, so
Here's my thing. I don't really agree that society's built for men. It's society's built for, in my opinion, for women, because we cater to women. We protect, we guard women, we provide for women. Society's also built for the winners, right? Society's built for the winners, not the average, not the mediocre, not the losers. Society's built for the winners, and society's built for women, right? We cater to women, we protect women, we don't push women hard, right? We don't try to push women hard. If women didn't stop it, right? If women didn't step in, women would still be in the household, right? They wouldn't. Yo, self-made. What is up, my brother? What is up? Yeah. When women wouldn't be suffering as much as they did, or as much as they are, okay, if they didn't enter the workforce, if they didn't think they're strong and independent.
One thing you said there was that society caters towards men.
Yes.
What are the ways in which society caters towards men?
It was built by men.
Well, so even if granting that society was built by men, how would it
My opinion changed on a particular topic. Hopefully you got to do it later. I'm definitely down. I'm definitely down. I'm definitely down for a conversation, right? If you want to have a conversation, yeah. Tell me what topic your opinion has changed on. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for being here. Don't forget to click the like button.
Towards men, like you would agree that you could conceive a world that could be built by the opposite sex, by men, that could cater to women. Logically, that's possible.
That is possible.
Right. So I'm not really asking who built the society. I'm asking because your claim was society caters to men. How does it cater to men?
I believe we all know the answer to that question. We can see how women are underpaid. They have a lot more.
Women aren't underpaid. Okay, women aren't underpaid. One, it is illegal today to underpay someone that's doing the exact same job, putting the exact same hours, right? Has the exact same skill sets. It is illegal. You could sue for that. Two, this is a delusion of women. This is the problem with a lot of feminists, right? This is the problem with a lot of feminists. They don't critically think, right? They read headlines and just take it as face value, okay? This has been debunked countless times. One, women pick different professions. It is a reality, a fact of life that an engineer gets paid more than a teacher. But guess what? Guess which profession women go for? Teacher. Guess what profession men predominantly go for? Engineer. I believe 80% are men in engineer. I believe 9% are teachers, right? Or are female teachers. It's just, that's just how it is. Why do you click the like button on my video, DA? Did I click the like button on your video? I don't know. I didn't even know I did.
Hours of working that it's called underpaid.
Unpaid labor?
Yes, unpaid labor. There we go.
Such as what?
Such as going to the grocery store, cooking, cleaning.
This is I find women ridiculous, right? I find really women ridiculous. Your unpaid labor, okay, for going to a grocery stores, which in actuality, usually it's his money, right? You're using his money to buy groceries. You're using his money to buy groceries, the groceries that you also eat. I.e., maybe the groceries that you also use to feed your children with. His children, your children, right? It's like, how's that unpaid labor? How's that unpaid labor? You're literally, it's like you're being compensated for it. The food that you're eating, right? That is the compensation. That is because here's the thing, right? If I go, I don't know, Uber Eats or what is it? TaskRabbit or whatever, right? Any one of those services where you pay someone to get your groceries, they don't eat your food, right? They're not going to eat your food. So you can pay them to go get your groceries. But guess what? They won't eat your food. So at the turn, once you pay them, right, the money to get your groceries, they will in turn have to use that money to buy their own groceries. So which one do you want? He can TaskRabbit for you, right? He can just if this is the thing where if women want, men don't mind. Men will pay for it. Just don't use it, right? If that's what you want, if that's what you're trying to go for, that is the foolishness of a lot of women.
So you're talking within the confines of a relationship or marriage.
Yes.
But so let me ask you, you're 24, right? And you're
Yes.
single. Your male single counterpart who's 24, he also has to go to the grocery store.
Yes, he does.
So perhaps we can have a conversation about gender roles in the confines of traditional relationships and marriage, but you would agree that this burden that you claim exists would not apply to, say, single women, which almost all of you here are.
I wouldn't say so, only because men do get paid higher wages than women.
Okay.
That's proven.
I swear to God, throw your degree. I've said this before about women, right? Not all women, not all women. There are plenty of intelligent women out there. But I think a lot of new generational women throw away your degree. Throw it away. Rip it up, throw it away. Because your degree obviously didn't work. Your degree didn't add to your intelligence. Zyrex, what is up, my brother? I'm sorry. What is up, my sister? How you been? All right? No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I'm always down. I'm glad that you're feeling better. All right? I'm glad that you're feeling better.
So wage gap?
Yes, wage
Okay,
gap.
wage
I would
gap.
also say,
Zyrex, I wanted to talk to you, right? What do you think about this? Is my problem, okay? Where I believe that a lot of new generation of women are extremely unintelligent, particularly of the left. I mean, maybe if you want to react to some videos with me, I believe that modern day women, right? Women of modernity, women that are, within the 18 to 30, right? Women are within the age range of 18 to 30. I believe that these women are low IQ women. Okay. I believe the women that gain these degrees became absolutely useless. Because let's see, here's a woman that's saying that men have higher wages. it's because you got the job. It's just women say a lot of stupid shit, and I'm just like, why do women constantly say such asinine things?
I don't know exactly what to call, but connections based, I would say.
Sorry, what's that?
Men have a higher power to privilege, easier access to privilege and power than women do because of the way society is created.
Men.
Real Rain, what is up, my brother? I think a lot of women that go on whatever are doing performative stupidity. Here's my thing, right? I mean, that could be true, right? That could be true. But why? Right? Why? It is. Okay, look at that, right? It's not true. It isn't true at all. Men. This is the thing, right? Men don't have higher wages, right? It's not men that have higher wages. It's like, let's say hypothetically, it's Google workers have higher wages. It is Amazon work. I don't know. It's Facebook workers have higher wages. And okay, yeah, I want to go back to what Real Rain said. Performative stupidity. Why? It's just like, if it's performative, you're literally going out there to look stupid. It's like, I don't really see. Men do make more than women, and rightfully so. Here's the thing, right? The problem with that way of thinking is that men technically, right? Yes, men technically make more than women, but it's not because of their gender, right? Jobs make more than other jobs. That is genderless, right? That is genderless. Jobs make more than other jobs, right? Certain jobs make more than other certain jobs. So being an engineer, sadly, always make more than being a teacher. It's genderless. But the problem is more about gender roles. More often than not, women gravitate to being a teacher, while men would gravitate to being an engineer.
Have a higher access to power and privilege.
Yes.
Legally or how so?
I would say not legally. It's just how our society is based socially. It's our
So
social
can
structure.
a woman?
See, the avocado thing, I don't count at all, right? I don't even count that page because that thing it got me it got like thousands upon thousands of subscribers because of a video of a YouTube short I put on that went viral. It's not because people want to watch my content like that. Okay, because all my other videos don't get a whole lot of content. So it's not natural subscribers, right? That's the problem. It's not natural subscribers. So that's something. And that's the thing, right? Women are more natural teachers. Men work best with their hands. Okay, it's not necessarily a gender thing. It's more maybe a gender role thing.
Is legally unable to become president?
No, she is.
She can.
She can become
So,
president.
what is the thing in society that I guess, not legally speaking, would prevent a woman from gaining power or position or anything?
I think because a great example would be our presidency. We do have men presidents, and socially speaking, men are able to access those spaces a lot better.
How?
Because they're seen as dominant, or the traditional mindset of.
The problem is that the problem with that. The problem with that is that women are a big part of the voter bloc. All right? It's like that is a problem. I mean, 51. I believe, right? 51 of the population is women. You can't say that. Oh, men, they're dominant. All that. So what? 51% of the population, or a good chunk of voters are women. So even women aren't voting for men, or even women aren't even voting for women.
Our social society, and therefore women have a disadvantage.
But we had a female vice president before, like Kamala Harris, and she's supposed to be a president. She was just not elected. She has equal chances to win. So I don't understand that, to be honest. Hillary Clinton almost win, to the point that they printed her face on the Time magazine and sent it to California. So there is no, especially within the power, we women, we have way more power when it comes to business than men.
I disagree. I think that's I feel like what she was trying to say was from the social norm aspect. Yes, women have as much they could go run for president right now because we are in 2026. But I'm just saying it would be more strategically harder for women to become president because it's something that it's not completely anyone's fault, but it's just something that has not been done before, and we are still in that age where we're kind of
not being done before isn't because she's a woman. Okay. I just find women really ridiculous. I really do. Okay. We have a two-party system. Sad as it is. We have a two-party system. One person is going to lose. One person is going to lose. Just because that one person is a woman, it doesn't mean because she's a woman, right? Necessarily because she's a woman, she's lost. Probably because people didn't want that candidate. It's like
charismatic is where a lot of people are they don't think that a woman can lead as well as a man.
I don't understand, I understand your point, but that was exactly the same argument when it came to the black president and Barack Obama won. Mm-hmm. So those kind of social aspects, people don't look at that anymore. It's more towards actually clinching towards women right now. It's very oppressing the straight men in America right now. So the women as a president, yeah, it's a lot of oppressing towards straight men right now.
Could you tell me more about that?
Yes, absolutely.
Very oppressed.
Do you not believe how much? Okay. Why am I being disingenuous? This is why Zyrex, I love you. I love you. Why am I being disingenuous? This is the problem. No, I think, in my personal opinion, right? People who, I think people like this are being disingenuous, right? No, I don't think it's because this is a thing where, like I said, right? You have to think of this. A good chunk of, let's see. That was stupid. Okay, Zyrex, look at this, right? In the 2024 presidential election, about 91 million women voted, compared to 82 million men voted. So you're saying that a good chunk of women didn't want a female president. Why? Because she's a woman? So you're saying women didn't want other women to be president? I think that's ridiculous, right? I think that's, honestly, that is disingenuous. I would love it. I would love it. Well, this is the thing. Let's react. This is the thing. I would love for us to react to some whatever podcast videos together. That would be fun. That would be hella fun. All right. But like I was saying, See that? Then where's your evidence of that? Right? You gotta prove. You gotta have some backing of it. So you're saying that a good amount of women didn't even want didn't even want a woman to be president. I think that's disingenuous. Yeah, I just think that it wasn't because she was a woman. I think because she was incompetent. I think that she had no charisma, nothing worth going for her. That was the problem. It wasn't because she was a woman, right? It wasn't because she's a woman. That's why people didn't want her. It was because, in my opinion, she would have been no better, no different than Biden. No different. Right? She would have been a puppet. She would still been a puppet. And she was still done the 4 more years or whatever, how many years of Biden. People didn't care for that. She had no charisma. I mean, like, people didn't really. Give me a minute. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I think people just didn't like her, not because she was a woman, right? I'm not saying 100% of people, were like that. Maybe a few didn't want her, just because she was a woman. But I think the majority wasn't like that.
It's women constantly mock them. Women constantly walk over them.
Well, wait. I would like to say that I'm raised by a man that was born in the 50s, and they're 10 times manlier back then than they are now. I asked a man to play shelf up, he doesn't know how to use the level.
Bro,
I swear to God. Somebody's going to get my 7-year-old man father to hang my televisions and not my man.
Okay. Can I say? Okay, we can go back to the 1950s. What else was going on?
I'm taking my vote.
You guys want to go back? Well, hold on. Let me got the vote in 1920, but this idea that, well, men used to go to war and blah blah blah, do all that shit. Men still do all that shit. Men still go to war. They're still male contractors. What you actually see is
I think this is disingenuous. I really think it's disingenuous, because this is a thing where we vote for women politicians, right? Congressmen, mayors, governors, police chiefs. We vote for plenty of different women, right? In plenty of powerful positions, right? Many of women have been in powerful positions. I find that disingenuous. Just because people didn't like this particular woman doesn't mean that people didn't want women at all. Okay? Let's say hypothetically, right? I believe if a woman came out that was like 100% like Trump, she probably would have won, right? She probably would have won. I just think that people didn't like that particular person. People didn't like Kamala.
Talking like a deflation in like masculinity, we have this effect that you're talking about is actually more pronounced in women. It's called hoflation. So when you're telling me that, oh, okay, men used to be men. Okay, what about the women? What about the women, though?
Women don't feel feminine anymore.
Yes,
women don't feel feminine.
Women are not feminine. 100% have fallen back from the 50s as well.
You want me to be?
It's just
How am I?
We're not allowed to
talking
be.
about the male.
Women are definitely allowed to be feminine. That's crazy.
That's an actually open-ended question, because like women are allowed to be feminine, right? But not all women feel feminine with certain type of men.
Okay, but that's great.
But guess what? You get to choose the men. It's like, I just find women absolutely ridiculous. Are you strong and independent, or are you not? You get to choose the men you procreate with. You get to choose the men you deal with. No one forces a woman to deal with a man she doesn't want to deal with. Nobody.
It's a personal choice that makes you feel feminine, because you cannot lie.
And feel feminine, you should already be feminine. Right? It's either you're feminine or you're not. I disagree, DA. You won't be fine. We'll probably be gone. I mean, to be honest, is like, I don't particularly care about a female president or not. I don't particularly think women can lead, in my opinion, right? I don't think women can lead. DA, are you saying that you haven't heard the women are emotional and monthly? I mean, no. Here's the thing, right? It's not like me personally, right? Me personally, yeah, I probably don't think women can lead, right? Me personally, I don't think women can lead. I don't think, right? Mainstream society in general, I don't think. Here's the thing, because if we were ready for a black president, we are ready for a female president. Okay. If we are ready for a black president, a minority president, we are 100% ready for. Yeah, please try not to do all caps. If you want to be emotional, come on stream, right? If you want to be emotional, come on stream. Yeah, I mean, no. Here's the thing, right? I don't vote. I didn't even vote. I don't think majority of people think like me. Plain and simple. I don't think majority of people think like me. Like I said, if we are ready for a black president, we are 100% ready for a female president. But it's just got to be the right person. Plain and simple. I'm sorry. It just got to be the right person.
Feminine men out there.
Sure.
Yes, there are
feminine men, but hold on, let me explore that. So this idea that your femininity is conditional on the masculinity of the man. Let me flip it. I am only comfortable being masculine when it's a feminine woman, and she needs to create a safe feminine space. She needs to be feminine and create a safe space for me to be masculine.
And here's the thing, where whatever podcast, yeah, maybe these women are performatively stupid, but they're still stupid, right? I'm sorry. I'm not. There will always be a rare woman out there, right? There will always be a rare woman. There will always be a woman that can beat up a man. Okay, there will always be a woman that can be more intelligent than a man. Well, no doubt. Balance of probability isn't high. I'm sorry. Balance of probability isn't high. For every one intelligent woman, I'm going to be honest, right? There's probably 100. Well, okay, I'm going to be a little bit kind. There'll probably be, 10 unintelligent women, right? And I believe that, for one uncharismatic woman or one charismatic woman, there's going to be like 10 uncharismatic women. It's just, sadly, the woman Kamala who ran, she was not that intelligent, not that charismatic. Here's the thing, right? I said this, right? I mean, I respect your opinion, my brother, but I still think Trump was a better choice than Kamala, right? I think Trump was still a better choice than Kamala, because one, I think the deportations were right. He's doing things in China. I think, he's making deals. I think Trump exuded more strength than Kamala did. Right? I've said this before, right? If you guys watch my shit, I've said this countless times before. I don't agree to Trump's foreign policy. Yeah, probably Kamala would have done better in that. But how she would have done better is that she probably would have done nothing. Right? Kamala probably wouldn't have done anything when it comes to foreign policies. She would probably just... No. Trump, I never said Trump was intelligent, but Trump is 100% charismatic. Trump is 100% charismatic. I think if you take out the hate for him, he is a charismatic man. He definitely is, right? He's funny. He's charismatic. He knows how to talk. I'm not saying he's intelligent. I never said that, right? But the man knows how to fucking talk, right? He knows how to talk. He knows what to say. Kamala, she can't. Again, I don't agree with that either, right? But here's the thing where, I mean, again, I'm not saying he's smart, but he's 100% more charismatic than than Kamala. I don't agree. I mean, I don't agree with what he's doing, like setting aside money for January 6 people. I don't agree with that. Hell, I mean, I don't disagree. I don't disagree, right? But that's charisma for you, right? That's charisma for you.
Do you see how ridiculous that sounds?
That
Men should just be. I think that sounds ridiculous. Men should just be masculine. Women should just be feminine. It's like you're gonna be masculine and then wait for the right guy, then be feminine for
No. You can like who you are as a person. Your femininity is like also tied into who you are as a person. There's people that carry themselves a lot differently because of how like they were raised. How there's a lot of aspects that make a person who they are. You can still be feminine, right? It's just like certain people like bring out more femininity than other people. Like you have like if someone, let's say your partner is like does not like because you're saying that it's ridiculous that like a man should want to feel like a.
He's not. He is not charismatic. This guy tariff countries we never had them on. Started a war, bombed self-made, right? I'm going to debunk you, right? He's 100% charismatic. I think it was a good thing Trump tariffed these countries. I don't. It's the Senate, right? It's our Supreme Court, right? Trump made hundreds of millions, right? Hundreds of millions on the tariffs. Supreme Court says no, you can't do it. He made money for the American people on the tariffs. I think that was a good thing. I 100% think that's a good thing, in my opinion. Now, started a war. Here's the thing: the war with I don't necessarily agree with, but bomb a school full of children, that is inaccurate. Because that was news reported by Israel, or no, that was news reported by Iran, and I don't believe anything. I don't believe anything a country that says death to Americans would say. I don't believe anything but that, right? So I don't believe that he did that. Okay, so yeah, and he's a sexual deviant. Okay. I mean, like the guy was a billionaire. Being a degenerate, right? A sexual degenerate is not the most surprising thing.
I don't feel like that's ridiculous.
No, hold on. That wasn't what I was saying. What I was saying is it would be ridiculous for a man to like hold back his masculinity. I'll only be masculine if she's creating the space for me to be masculine.
So that's where we disagree. I don't think it's about holding back. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I would like to say, if an example is someone go through life, like single black mom, or I didn't have.
And this is what I love, right? I love self-black. I love you, right? This is why I love, right? We need to push back against each other. We shouldn't. I've said this countless times before. This is why I love the people that follow my channel. We are not sheeps. You don't follow me. You don't agree with me 100%. I shouldn't agree with you 100%. We are individuals. This ain't no echo chamber, right? This is no echo chamber. This is why I love the community I'm building. It's no echo chamber. We don't need to agree on everything. Okay. Now we could talk to each other, and if we change each other's mind, awesome. If we can't, we agree to disagree.
That circumstance, and they grew up with a chip on their shoulder because they had to do everything themselves and weren't handed certain things in society. So when they do have a partner, they're a lot more tough. And then that partner, it cannot necessarily make them have that space to feel them.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree that we have, certain masculine or feminine traits. I don't disagree.
Women have to be able to say, can I lean on you? Can you support me? And a lot of men are not exactly there, I would say.
Because I feel like also masculinity does not really like it's
100%. 100%.
Not everybody. They're not going to act the same to everybody. That's why everybody's not for everybody. There could be, let's say for her example, right? Like she's talking about the timeless aspect. Like they want like someone to feel, safe, and they don't really have the time to be feminine because they're too busy taking care of their kids or work, whatever. They don't have time to dress up, do makeup, or anything like that. I'm saying in the aspect of like, are you like comfortable? Like I'm a very feminine person. I feel like I'm a very feminine girl. I like to do the makeup. I'm very girly, right? That's also ties into like who I am as a person. It's not about holding yourself back. It's about like, this person makes me feel more comfortable than I am when I'm by myself, right? Like, because I don't have to like kind of like, I don't have to like, they add more to my life than me being by myself. Do you like understand what I'm saying? So it's not about like holding back. It's about like just allowing the person to be like a safe space for you.
Yes, exactly.
Whatever like, you want.
Sure. Well, look, I'm going to redirect it kind of back to the original thing. We did go off track a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I was asking you how society caters to men. And so you said women are underpaid, the wage gap, that women have not, they don't occupy as many positions of power as men. You mentioned the presidency. I suspect you might also say, well, women are less likely to be CEOs or, stuff like that. Is there anything else, though, in terms of society catering to men?
I would also say historically, men were allowed to.
I hate, this is the thing. This is my problem, right? This is my problem with people on the left. Stop using history, right? I like, learn about it. Awesome, right? Learn your history. Awesome. So you're not doomed to repeat it. Learn it. Great. Stop being shackled to it. I'm sorry. This is going to be blunt. This is why I'm critical of the left. I'm critical of liberals, progressives. I'm critical of the minority community. Stop being shackled to the past. How is the history affecting you today? I have yet accurately, right, logically had anyone, a minority, anyone, Democrat, Republican, anybody can accurately, right, logically give me an argument of how the past is affecting you today. No one black has truthfully, has rightfully argued, right, logically argued that slavery, Jim Crow affected you today, right? It's affecting you today. No woman has accurately, logically debated that, the oppression of women. How did that, like those years ago, affected you today? It's just, you're just being shackled to the past because you're a fucking victim. That is it.
Own a lot more things and have access to institutions, and that creates generational wealth. So the people that are running things are usually typically men or are capable of that wealth right now.
Well, I mean, the thing is that most of these men who had resources and power, etc., most of them were typically heterosexual, so they were dating women. So they shared in their wealth, and I suspect you would say privilege, with their spouse, partner, or whatever. And then they would have female children. They would have female offspring. So this idea, like this, your argument might make sense if it was like, okay, there's just a bunch of gay dudes, and they were just adopting like male children, and they were hoarding wealth and power for males. But like males pass on their wealth.
I feel
to
like
women.
that's the problem though, because what happens when the male who's providing for their wife or children, something happens to them, right, and they can't like what if something happens to them, right, and like the girl, because she's never really been in a situation where she needs to let's say work or whatever.
The fuck are you talking about?
Knowingly, that man would have his shit together and have a life insurance policy.
Well,
a lot of
hold on.
things set up.
Isn't it like though
Hold
that the majority of the new millionaires are coming from the tech space?
Exactly.
Very much of the generational.
I'm sorry. This is why women in general can't lead, right? That is why women in general can't lead. They're not logical, right? To be honest, they're not. It's like they say a whole lot of stupid shit. And this is the problem. I think Kamala was like that. Kamala wasn't a rare woman, right? Sadly, she wasn't a rare woman in any sense of the word. In any category, she wasn't a rare woman. She was, in my honest opinion, a typical lucky-ass woman, right? She was lucky. if the history that I know about Kamala is true, with that how she earned her position, I'm not saying it's true, but I mean, like, nothing I've heard about her is on honestly all that special. So really, I'm not saying rare women. If there's a rare woman out there that would definitely, I believe the CEO of AMD, right, the chip manufacturer, the computer parts manufacturer, Amy Wong of AMD, she's an amazing CEO because she made a company that can rival almost all other chip companies. This is I'm giving props where prop is due. Okay, what is up, my sister?
Hey, DA, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm hanging in there.
What, were you sick?
Yes.
Oh, hopefully your family didn't caught it.
Yeah. It's it's the constant weather change and stuff. So, but
I get it. All right, so let's go on it, right?
Okay.
So, in my opinion, right, I think leaders are rare. I think leaders are rare, and the sad reality is that the cream of the crop of men are more. Or there's a more population of cream of the crop of men compared to the cream of crop of women, right? I could say this. There's a study out there that can semi-prove this, where there's a curve, there's like a kind of like a chart where there are more stupid men, right? There's a lot of stupid men out there, but because of that, there's also a lot of super intelligent men, and men make up both sides of this argument. There's not many men that are like average, right? While women, there's not a lot of smart women, but there's not a lot of stupid women. Women are more average. So that more explains to you that there are very few exceptional women, right? But there's more women that are more base, more average. And I believe leadership, it takes rare people, right? You have to be rare in something, intelligent, charismatic, whatever. So this is why my opinion, balance of probability. I'm not saying there could never be a women leader. I just think that because of balance of probability, because of statistics and odds, it would be rare and unlikely to have a good woman as a leader. So I just don't think women should lead.
Why should and this is what I meant by that we tend to have a higher standard for women when it comes to politics. Why does the woman have to be exceptional?
I'm sorry, to lead our country, there has to be something about you, right?
We've had
I'm not saying the best of the best, but there's got to be something about you.
I understand that, right? But we've had stupid presidents, though.
Again, see, I said this in the comment, right?
Men can be stupid, but the women can't. Women have to be exceptional. That's the double standard. No,
but this is the thing, right? Even though I disagree with self-made, and I disagree with a lot of other people. I 100%. I'm not on people's side when people say Trump isn't charismatic. I'm sorry. The sad part is that we have a two-party system, right? So you only pick from A or B. That's it, right? It's not like you're picking from like quite a few people. So sadly, you pick A or B, Kamala or Trump. And sadly, Trump is 1,000 times more charismatic than Kamala was. I'm not saying he was more intelligent than her. I mean, he's probably just as smart as her, right? So, or whatever, but it's charismatic, right? You have to have something better. You have to have something about you. And in my opinion, this is why Kamala wasn't even able to run when she was running against Biden, Trump, and all these things, because she got no votes. She's not a charismatic person. Intelligence.
Okay, so
I don't even think she's all intelligent, but still, she has nothing special about her.
So you could be stupid, but as long as you're charismatic, you're good.
You have to be something for you. You got to have something.
So it's either stupid or charismatic, or or intelligent and boring or dull.
Well, to be honest, I don't know anyone who said that, who believed Kamala was intelligent.
Kamala's she's a lawyer.
Okay, you think lawyers are automatically intelligent? I know plenty. I've seen plenty of people who have lawyer degrees that are pretty stupid. A degree doesn't necessarily make you intelligent, even if it's a lawyer, right? I mean, you may not even, because you got to think, right? You may not have the common sense. You may not be intellectual. It doesn't necessarily make you that intelligent, okay? And again, she didn't run based on her intelligence. She wasn't running on how smart she is compared to Donald Trump, okay? She didn't run on stuff like that. She wasn't running where she's outsmarting Trump.
Well, they both ran on policies, but if we're gonna judge a person by their character, their, like their personality trait, I'm just saying, if we're gonna grade them based on intelligence, yeah, Kamala is 10 times more intelligent than Donald Trump.
First of all, wait, I want to talk about that. But
Donald
here's my
Trump can't
thing.
even speak in proper, sentences. He can't even pronounce certain words.
I've seen some of Kamala's interviews. She didn't produce intelligence, right? She stumbled on her words. She didn't know what she was talking about. I've seen a few of her interviews, right? So
and
if
Donald
you want,
Trump, you want to compare that to, come on, you're going to compare that to Donald Trump. Come on.
No, but this is the thing, right? You just said that you said something he did wrong that makes him look stupid. I don't disagree. But if the other person does it, well, the same energy applies, right? So again, I'm not saying she's more stupid than Trump. I'm saying that, to be honest, she really wasn't running on how intelligent she was. And we could talk about policies, right? Because I would want to know. But I want to say this, right? What does charismatic mean? It's how, in my opinion, it's charismatic is like how you can relate to the audience or to other people. People like Trump. People didn't like Kamala. She had 4 years with Biden and no one really thought about her. No one even cared about her until she was running against Trump. No one was even talking about her during the 4 years of Biden. So she gained no popularity at all, only until she was running against Trump. So she has no charismatic. Hell, I see JD Vance more in front of the public. I see people more, even if they hate JD Vance, they talk more about him during the 1 year of Donald Trump's presidency than they even talked about Kamala during 4 years of Biden's presidency. And that's charismatic right there, where you get people's attention. People either like you, hate you, whatever.
JD Vance does not have charisma.
I didn't say charisma. I'm saying that people are talking about you. People are thinking about you. You're
you
in the conversation.
You don't think people talked about Kamala Harris? They definitely did. But
point me something.
No,
what were they talking about?
I'm going to compare. I'm just saying like the standard. How news cover them. I put Kamala and JD Vance in the same group. So whether it's positive, coverage or negative coverage, they talk about them in the same.
Well, give me a top, because I could tell one of the things that recently, right, with the they're talking about him with the scams. I mean, he's all up front in the scam stuff. And here's the thing, right? The lucky thing with Trump, because Trump do so many press conferences, you see him so much, right? You see JD Vance a lot because Trump does a lot of media. So you're constantly seeing his cabinet, JD Vance. You've seen all these people constantly on media. That's
not necessarily a good thing. He should be doing work, but instead Trump is all about presentation. That's the thing. Just because Trump is all about presentation does not make him a good president.
I think you're conflating things I'm saying. I never said he's good or bad, right? I'm saying what matters.
You say that he's in the media a lot, and that's yeah, and I'm saying that's presentation. That's him putting himself out there.
But that's what gets you out there. I'm telling you, right? Let's say this, right? If you were running from president, right? No one knows your name. Your presentation is zero, right? While let's say I'm running along with you. I'm on every single news channel. You see me every day on every social media, on all these things. Please tell me, who do you think, just based on that alone, who do you think people would vote for?
No, I'm not denying that Trump doesn't have charisma or anything like that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I never said he was intelligent. I never said any of that. But I'm saying that you have to think about it, take a step back. I've been critical. If you've ever watched my stuff, I've been critical of Trump, right? But I'm also logical about it. No one cared about Kamala. Huh?
No, I said so am I. Like I will
Yeah,
give Trump credit for for stuff that he deserves credit. Yeah, Trump has and I think it's the celebrity in him that
of
like
course.
yeah, he has like that celebrity quality. Well, he was a celebrity,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. So that's why people like him and stuff. He could draw in a lot of crowds. Yes.
Yeah, I think that I'm not saying that being a woman necessarily was the killing factor. It may not helped her with certain groups, but I don't think it was the determining factor of why people didn't vote for her. Again, I gave you a reason why people sadly we have a two-party system. Okay, so I've said this before, just like I was saying with self-made. If I had a choice between Kamala and Trump, I would still, even after all the crap he's done, I would still pick Trump over Kamala. I think that she would have done nothing. I think she would have been just 4 more years of Biden. And to be honest, I could care less, right? It means nothing for me. So I'm not saying that he's a good president. I'm not saying he's a bad president. I'm just saying that she's a nobody, right? I'm not saying that I could care less if she was the president. It doesn't do anything. So it's not because she's a woman, right?
But the Trump hasn't done anything, spectacular.
I'm again just like how you were just saying, right? You don't have to be amazing. To be honest, one of the things he's done is.
But then you keep saying that though. You keep saying that Trump. You're making it seem like Trump has done something, because he could bring in crowds, because he has charisma and stuff. That's what makes
No, that's for the presidency part, right? That's for the presidency part, right?
Okay,
So as the president, right?
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, I apologize. Then in comparison to Kamala, that's what you're saying. Is
Yes,
that okay? Okay,
For-
I got you then.
Yeah,
The
for the
stand
election
down.
part, that's what. But let's say as a presidency, because I had no basis for for Kamala. I would see that she would have done 4 more years of what Biden did. Made no difference, right? For me, I'm hoping that again, I've said this so many times. I'm 100% a detractor of Trump's foreign policies. I don't like it at all, right? I really don't like it. I wish he focuses more on the US, right? But right, as much as I hate it, right? Us as Americans, we need to 100% hope that our president, whether you hate him, love him, or whatever, will do what's right for Americans. Even though, to be honest, right now it's within just about over a year and a half of his presidency, he's actually done a lot, right? Whether you like it or you don't like it, right? I'm not saying that I like what he's done, but whether you like it or not, he's done actually a lot. He's done quite a lot. He's done, to be honest, he's generated more news than Biden's 4 years of presidency. I'm not saying it's good or bad, right? Again, this is unbiased. I'm not saying it's good or bad, right? But he's done a whole lot more than Biden did during his 4 presidency, or at least generation of news or generation of actions, right? So again, I'd rather see something happening while nothing happens at all.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the correct. I don't think you should judge him. By using like that metric just because he generates, a lot of news. Because, like you said, it could be, he generated a lot of news, but they could all be, like say 75% of them is bad. So that still doesn't make it, doesn't make him a better president than say Biden. Biden didn't generate any, hardly any news because maybe, like he wasn't doing, usually when they generate news, it's because of, something negative, right?
Well, I want you to look at this, right? So this is how I'm thinking about it, okay? So I've said this before where I wanted when Bernie Sanders was running, right? When Bernie Sanders was running, and thank you for being here. I love talking to you, right?
Same here.
When Bernie Sanders was running, I was a deep Bernie fan, right? I was a deep Bernie Sanders fan because he was going to do something different, right? Free colleges, free healthcare, all that shit, right? Now, in my mind, I don't know if that's going to work or not, right? That could fail spectacularly, right? It could completely destroy our economy. But in my opinion, I'd rather you do something different than don't do anything at all. So let me give you that. I give you that basis. Trump, right?
I actually agree with you. No, I get what you're saying. I agree with you. Yes.
So that's my thing, right? So let's say Trump's thing, right? His tariffs thing, right? He did something that no other president did. Tariff pretty much the whole world. and that generated hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions. Okay, but it failed because our Supreme Court put it down, right? Said no to it. My idea is that, you know what? I'd rather a president throw a whole lot of shit at the wall and see what sticks than our president throw nothing at all and just keep the status quo. Because in my opinion, I mean, we're not drastically different in age. I grew up during a time where I think our government was useless. They did nothing for us. Every time was the same thing. It was always about the rich, the poor, the middle class. It's always, you know, our government meant nothing to me. I rather wanted change, and that's why I said I preference the Bernie Sanders thing, because I wanted someone who was a drastic change to the system, who would push different ideas. I don't know if Bernie Sanders would have done it, but he was pushing out ideas, right, that would have been different for our society. So as much as I like I said, I'm critical of Trump, at least he's a man that would say that I'm going to throw a whole lot of shit at the wall and see what sticks. While in my opinion, Biden didn't do that. He was a status quo kind of guy. And I believe that Kamala would have been the same thing. So that is why I say that, you know what, I'd rather still pick Trump over Kamala. Because honestly, I don't want 4 more years of someone who does nothing, keep the status quo, how, you know, the rich stays rich, or, you know, whatever, right? I don't care, whatever, right?
Even if it gives us, you know, like bad ramifications, or, you know, a bad outcomes, you rather, you know, you want to see someone who have the balls of, excuse my language, have the guts to, you know, to want to change something. I get you. I'm also, you know, like when it comes to voting, I'm also coming from that, you know, perspective also. Yeah, that I'm tired of status quo, that, we want someone who has the goal to change, you know, somewhat, you know, change, not completely change the system, but change something about the system where it benefits us. Yes.
So that's how I view Trump's presidency, right? Like I said, I'm critical of the guy. I don't love him, but I don't hate him, right? I just want a president that would do shit. Period. I'm not saying it's going to be great. I'm probably like, again, the shit with Iran. I believe it's a failure right now. Right now. Now, if it pans out how people think it might pan out, right, where we could, you know, freedom to women over there or whatever, I don't give a shit. Then okay, it panned out great. But if it didn't, Trump is 100% to blame. But at least he's doing something. That's my thing, right?
Yes.
So that's how I view it.
Okay, I got you.
And you know what? That's the thing where I love talking to you, because you know what? We can, you know, agree to disagree, or, you know, we find some common ground. I love it.
Yes.
All right, let's join me on. Let's react to some more of a whatever.
Well,
Well, this is secondary. So going back to that, you said women didn't have like as equal access or whatever, historically speaking. I mean, women had access, this idea that like women didn't have access to college and women couldn't own property. That's ridiculous. Women could always own property going into the 1800s here in the United States. Women can own property. This is like feminist myth, propaganda bullshit. So perhaps there were, look, I'm not going to dispute that there were some gender disadvantages, but those have disappeared. Like there really aren't modern day, and I mean, we could go back decades. Women have equal rights, unless, is it your position women don't currently have equal rights to men?
No, I do believe women do legally have equal rights.
Okay.
Legally. I do believe that legally you're correct in that sense.
Okay, but so you think there's oppression
Socially, right? So this might be controversial. I don't know if you agree with this or disagree with this. I think socially, women have more social right, or they have more power than men. Right? I think socially, women have more power than men. What do you think of that? Assertion?
Women have more power than men
Socially.
yes.
We are equal. We have equal rights, but I think women, socially, women have a higher leg up. I don't know if I've called it right, but I mean, like, you know, women have more than men. What do you think?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. See, this is I love you.
women are oppressed. Are women currently oppressed?
I would say in the United States.
Yeah, sure, just the U.S.
No, actually everywhere women are oppressed. I would say oppression.
Everywhere. Women
I
are
would say
oppressed. Okay.
I would say oppression right now in the United States more has to do with your status. I would say like
Stems.
your economic status.
Socioeconomics.
Yeah. I
Oppressed.
think that however the oppression when people think about oppression, no, that's not happening in the US, for instance.
Not happening to women.
I think it can happen to women individually. It's like social economics.
How so?
But for instance, I don't know. There, in violent situation, for instance, I lived in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath growing up for a bit, and I didn't have the same access, I guess, to someone with more money. I would say the ability to go to a better school or those types of things. So
Okay. So you're talking like if you
like
are
individually, it's not a generalization.
This is the problem. What I have with a lot of women or people on the left or whatever, okay, is that they can't comprehend that you're not special. Okay, so her argument is that, you know what, individually you might be oppressed. Well, it's like individually anyone and everyone is oppressed, because a man can be oppressed, a woman can be oppressed, someone black could be oppressed, someone white could be oppressed. That's not how society works, right? On the individual level, it doesn't change, right? That doesn't. It's like I feel this is my problem with how, in my opinion, how I'm critical of minorities, or I'm critical of women or the left and shit like that. They think in such a utopian mindset. Well, it's nice and all, right? It's beautiful. This is why when I argue with Alan and stuff, or when I said with the Bernie Sanders shit, this is the problem with the left, right? If you're on the left, you're a Democrat. If you're this, you have such a utopian mindset. It's cute, it's beautiful, it's nice. It is stupid. As I grew older, I've learned that it's such a stupid mindset because it's unrealistic. It's a sad thing. Most of us won't be equal. Most of us won't have a good life. It's just that we won't all have the amazing, beautiful life as like Elon Musk or others. It's just not how the world works. It is very true. It's unfair. It's true, but that's reality. And to think that, I want everyone to be wealthy. I want everyone to be exactly equal to the to the person next to you. I want everyone to achieve their dreams. It's like, it's beautiful, but it's stupid. And that is why I'm so critical of minorities, of women, of the left. It's that delusion that makes every single thing that comes out of your mouth sound so stupid. Because when you take a step back and actually live life, you see that mindset is cute, but it's stupid, and it's like it's ground on no other logic besides emotion. What are your thoughts?
Well, the whole point is, I mean, how should I say this? What we're all trying to do is, is to try to we strive for like as equal as as equally as possible, right? As a society, and whenever you see whenever you see gaps, you want to try to to fix them. Now, whether those gaps are valid, that could be. I mean, that's where people need to have a conversation. Investigate, make sure it's valid and stuff. But say if you see little pockets of inequality, you would want to fix those, amend those, because if you don't, then it's only going to get bigger and bigger, and that's what you don't want.
I see it.
We're always going to have problems. Something needs fixing, and we should again whenever someone says, "Oh, we have a problem here," no one said anything about having to fix it right away. But then you should at least like check it out. If it's not priority, then yeah, then it could go like, on the bottom of the pile of paper, So
Here's my thing where
mhm.
I understand what you're saying, but I may have a different. Maybe might be controversial, whatever. I think that we are more free than ever before, and I think that I don't think that we can ever be more free than right now. I don't see a world, right? Let's say unless we have a truly utopian world, unless we have a world where we're all under one government or whatever, right? Like the movies and shit. I don't think that we can possibly be more equal and free than we are right now. I don't, right? Because if you think that we can be more equal and whatever, right? You negate reality, right? Because again, why people say the world's unfair? Because in a world where there's smart people, there will always be stupid people, right? In a world where there is wealthy people, there will always be poor people. It's just it doesn't ever make sense in a world where everyone is rich, everyone is equal, right? Because let's say even the equal part, right? In a world where, and I've seen this before, okay? I recently see this, like an Asian judge, right? An Asian judge, he let off a woman that is Asian. She recklessly killed a whole family driving, right? Reckless driving, killed a whole family. All he did was the judge let her off on probation. She literally killed a whole family, reckless driving. Why did I bring that up? Is because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're Asian, black, white, whatever, biases will always be there, right? Hate will always be there, right? Stereotypes will always be there. So it's like we cannot truly 100% be truly equal, because humans don't ever, it's not human nature, in my opinion, right? It's not human nature to view everyone in a utopian equal lens, because at the end of the day, an Asian someone in China may care about someone who's Chinese more than that Chinese caring about, let's say, someone that's black, right? It's just, and I've seen black judges, right? Black judges let off like crazy black criminals, right? Let them off multiple times. Bias is there, right? So this is why it's like to have the utopian mindset, we have to get rid of human emotion, human way of thinking. And that's why I say that I don't believe that we can be more free, more whatever utopian than we are today. I just don't believe it. The only way is that we get rid of humans, right? Because we negate the human nature.
Do you butcher?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, see, if you believe we're tribal by nature, and you say that an Asian judge will, give lesser sentence to one of their own, and and a black judge can do that, then then how come you don't believe in white, in white privilege?
I don't.
That's basically the same thing. A white judge letting off, white or giving white criminals, lesser sentence. How's that how's that so far-fetched for you, when you could clearly see that it's the same thing in other communities too?
I love it. So here's the thing, right?
Mhm.
This is why I love talking to you. I don't believe in white privilege, because I don't believe being white gains you that privilege. I believe it's the bias, right? Like I said, so because if by that notion there's Asian privilege, black privilege, there's privilege of everything. So if everyone have privilege, then there's no such thing as privilege. It's just the status quo. So this is why I say the biases, right? So let's say hypothetically a white judge letting go a white defendant, right? Or a white whatever, right? People would say, if that was like the pure story, people would say, oh, that's white privilege. But if a black judge does the same thing, people won't say that. And that's where it debunks the whole white privilege thing, and more saying that we have biases, right? I've heard so many times where, let's say, a judge usually This is why I brought up the only way to change things is that we get rid of the human emotion, the human way of thinking, because human beings, like I said, they are tribal. So I've seen so many humans or so many people, right? Judges say, "Oh, you know what? He looks just like my son. She looks just like my daughter. She looks just like a neighbor," right? They make it personal, right? So I've seen this. I've seen judges say, "Oh, he's just a child." I mean, like literally. There was a case that a TikTok video I just did where in the UK, three teenage boys, ages around 14, they R-worded a young woman, a young girl. And these young boys are just let out and to be rehabilitated. No jail time, no nothing. They're just let out a couple years for rehabilitation. That is the bias. We have bias against so many things, right? These boys heinously R-worded a little girl. And yet they're let off because they were viewed as children, right? And I said this before. Once you do adult shit, you're no longer a child in my eyes, right? So these supposed children are not children in my eyes. Yet, in someone else's eyes, they still view these as children, right? The bias of it. And that is human nature, right? This is why I say there's no such thing as privilege. It's just human nature. It is logical for a white judge to view a white defendant. You know, if let's say that white judge has kids, he has a wife, he has daughters or son, to have some bias to this white individual. Like let's say a 16-year-old boy, 17-year-old boy did a heinous crime, right? He would have some bias like, oh my God, he looks just like my son, right? So I want to be lenient on him. It's not white privilege, right? But we would deem it as white privilege. It's just a disgusting bias that it's part of human nature. This is why I don't believe in white privilege, right?
No, I don't think that's why it's considered privilege. It's considered privilege. It's because I think who was it that said it last time we spoke, that it's the majority. So that's why it's considered a privilege, right? The reason why, like I say, if a black judge did it or an Asian judge did it, we wouldn't necessarily call it privilege. It would be sort of like favoritism, or or even like maybe a bias because we're in the minority. So if there's more like say if it's majority Asians, then it would we would call it Asian privilege because it benefited the majority of the population, which is Asian. But then because whites are the majority population, that's the only reason why it's considered privilege.
So it's a privilege to be the majority of a population?
No, because they're in the majority that
what makes it a privilege?
Because the fact that a privilege is when you have more benefits than the other. The reason we have white privilege is because it benefits white people more than the other race.
What benefits white people more? How can you equate anything that benefits? Like this is my problem, right? This is my problem. If there's a such thing as white privilege, right? We would have. It's like in a society where I think I just recently saw it, right? 70% of the U.S. is made up of white people. 70%. That's a huge majority. So it's like, it's hard for me. What's up? What's up, big bars? What is up, my brother? It's hard for me to say that it's privilege, right? When it's just something more normal.
You're viewing it in a negative way, like in a negative way. The way I'm using privilege is, it's just the standard, I guess, the standard understanding of what or maybe I should say the correct way to view what the term white privilege means. It's just simply means, because white people are the majority and it benefits, of course it's going to benefit, white people more. That's the only reason why it's considered white privilege. But because people throw that, people will, use that and throw that, that we tend to understand white privilege as sort of like a negative thing. But that's not what I'm doing, though. I'm not. That's not how I view it.
But I get that, right? We're on the same page that people do. It is correct that people use that as a negative. But my thing is that maybe we shouldn't just use it as this is a thing where this is the problem where I don't view it as a privilege. It's correct. It's the majority. I don't view it as a privilege, right? It's not a privilege to be white, right? It's not a privilege, right? It's just
It's
because
a privilege if it benefits you. It benefits you as in a white person more than it benefits another race.
But here's the thing, right? It doesn't. But in my thing is that it doesn't necessarily because by that logic, right? It benefits you, or let's say the white people. By that logic, it has to be more consistent, right? So let's because again, this is why I say it's bias, not privilege, because if you by that argument, right, we would have very little white criminals. We would have very little white criminals. We don't have white people would be predominantly, they would have privileges, right?
But
it's a select. They don't, right? Because they make up a good portion.
White people and black people, criminals, right? Mm-hmm. White people are sentenced have a lesser sentence than black people. That's white privilege right there. For the same committee, the same kind of crime, That's what you consider white privilege. Someone like, a two-person, a white guy and a black guy, who gets, caught up with, like, say, the same amount of drugs and stuff. You think they're both going into jail for the staying up the same amount of years or whatever? No, like, you already know that.
Well,
now this is historically, right? As in today's time, no, it's slowly dying. Because we are becoming more aware of this stuff, right? We are becoming more aware of this stuff, and yes, it is slowing dying off. Now you only see like one-offs, here and there, and sometimes they blow those stories out of proportion, in my opinion.
Well, here's my thing where I want to take you. I want to think about it in a more logical way. Okay, I think daters are screwed. Now, I agree with you, right? So let's say what you said. Let's say hypothetically, a white person and a black person do exactly the same crime. All right. Yeah, probably the white person will have a lesser sentence. Mm-hmm. But I want you to think about this, right? Remember, 70% of the population. Okay. So if we take hypothetically, all right, the few amount of cases that happened to, right? The few cases that might happen. Yeah, then it proves that statistics. But when you take, let's say, again, like when you compare hypothetically a population of 10 people, right? 10 white people compared to a population of, let's say, two black people, right? 2 black people. And then to say that, you know what, that one black person out of 2 have a higher crime stat, right? They are sentenced to burglary for 20 years. While let's say, I don't know, 4 of those, let's say 3 of those white men did same crime, right? And had only 10 years, 3. Okay. So then that would prove that stat that, yeah, white people are on average doing it. But then you also say that, let's say, 2 more white people did burglary charges, and they get 10 years, they get 20 years, right? It's just that stats can be skewed, in my opinion, because of the amount of people, right? It's the amount of people we also use.
No, I understand what you're saying, but that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about, how many people committed, per capita, because that's what you're talking about. Yes, I do agree with you there, because a lot of times they go, white people commit more crimes and stuff. Well, yeah, because they're the majority of the population. But if you want to talk about per capita, as in, per capita, then yes, I think it is, blacks are the ones that commit more crimes per capita.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then we're talking about, if all men are created equal in the United States, we both commit the same crime, we both should be going to jail at the same amount of time.
I agree. I don't disagree, right? I agree that our justice system is effed up. I don't disagree with that, right? Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, right? If there was a woman out there that will run on reforming our justice system, I would vote for her. 100%, right? If she would if she's going to rehaul the justice system, she has 100% my vote, right? So I stand on that, right? I agree. I don't disagree that our justice system isn't effed up, but here's my thing where it's just, we were talking about, just our court system, but in my opinion, it's not enough to equate white privilege, right? I don't disagree with that, right? With that, with your what you said about they get lesser crime, but they have more of a population, right? So if you compare, like I said, you compare chunk to another chunk, yeah, maybe you get that. But then if you compare the rest of that chunk, you may see a different view. So
No, see,
I just
this
don't
is
see the
no,
overall picture.
no,
The
DA,
overall
you're not
picture.
understanding. You see, you're mixing the two things, and you're mixing two things. We're not talking about, how many people committed. That's not the argument that we're talking about. We're talking about, if two people commit the same crime, they
No,
should get the same amount of time. But the thing is that
100%.
they don't,
But here's the
and
thing, right?
that's where the white privilege comes in.
Okay, but this is my problem too, right? Let's say
It has
hypothetically,
nothing to
right?
do with the
No,
amount of people doing,
I don't disagree, right? But
Okay.
this is my problem with it, right? This is my problem with it. When I said to you about the only way to make us free or equal or whatever is that we take out the human mind, right? Because here's the thing where literally, right? We have I already told you a case where we have plenty of cases of women being R-worded and the predator, right, getting, let's say hypothetically, right, I'm saying hypothetically, getting like 10 years, right? Boom, 10 years for R-wording a woman. But let's say a man did drug possession, right? I've seen this before, right? He get 20 years for drug possession. It's like it always shows you that our justice system is already messed up. It's not, I'm not saying that maybe that's a bit of privilege, but I see that more of a bias, right? White judges probably be biased against white criminals, right? Or they will probably be more let's say critical or harsh on black criminals. Okay.
Yeah, so then it's discrimination, not discrimination, but then that would you say racist then,
But
right?
here's the thing, right? Could you argue that
But
there's
then
no
you're
such
saying that there's no
there's no
such thing as racist. So then what
but
do you
here's
call
the
it?
thing, right? But here's the thing, right? Could you disagree that there aren't any black judges that would be harsh on white criminals?
No, to say that there's not one. Yeah, that would be like, yeah, that would be dumb of us. Yeah, highly dumb of me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like so if you say one area
But
is
that's not
racist,
the
do you
argument.
think
You
the
keep
other part
moving the
is racist as
goalpost.
well?
You keep moving the goalpost, DA. We're not talking about that.
I'm not necessarily moving the goalpost. I'm trying to make a point in the sense that, again, I'm going back to base. We are biased, right? All right. It's like what I said. It's human. It's human. It's who we are, right? It's who we are as humans. This is, again, why I said it's not moving the goalpost, because I want you to understand
If it's who we
it's
are,
a
then why
human
can't you
nature.
accept that there's okay? If it's human nature, then why are you having a hard time accepting that there's such thing as white privilege? Then
No, because it's not the privilege. It's
See?
the bias. We are biased.
It's the
It's
same
part of
thing.
human nature.
But you said that bias is human nature, privilege is human. It's human nature. Therefore, see, you're able to see it from you're
Here's the
able
thing,
to
right?
say that
Where
it
I could-
exists in other communities, but when it comes to white, you're like, no, it doesn't exist. That's
Because
the
okay, let me try to make
part
that.
that
Let me try to make the argument more clear, right? So I could say that there's wealthy privilege, right? Because you can see that it's consistent. Let's say hypothetically, all wealthy people, right, are privileged because they have money. They will get a lot of shit. It's a wealth privilege. It's consistent. Tell me a wealthy person that can't buy all the shit he wants, right? It's a privilege. But when I see in society that there are, white people make up most of the poor, white people make up a good chunk of the homeless. Like, it's like, where's the white privilege when white people are suffering? Now, I'm not saying I'm not saying that, white people, I'm sad for them. I'm just saying that, like, how can there be privilege because of the skin? When even though there's people that have that skin, because if you could say white privilege, that means that person in the trailer park that person on the streets and the homeless, because they're white, they should be experiencing some form of privilege, but they're not. I could say that yes, if you're saying like social class, there's privilege to that because I can see the consistent logic. I can't see consistent logic when it comes to white privilege, right? This is why I say there's the bias, because that makes it more logical to me, in my personal opinion. Because to say white privilege, then it has to be privilege for being white. But when, let's say, if there's people that are white that's suffering, where's the privilege in that?
Okay, if you want to use bias, okay, is it okay to be biased?
Is it? I'm not saying. Here's my thing. I don't say it's okay or not. This thing is human nature.
Bias. You don't want to use the.
Here's the thing, right? Just like, is it okay?
If we have bias, if we have a preconceived, bias, do you think we can change it?
I don't think so. I honestly don't think so.
So then you're saying that it's acceptable to be biased then?
Here's the thing, right? My thing is that I think we have to fight against it, right? But to be honest, we have to fight against it on the individual level, right? So just say,
yes, it starts off the individual level, yes.
Yeah, so this is the problem where I just think that's part of human nature. Just like I think it's part of human nature to be to be a degenerate, right? To be very sexual, to be to think, to be selfish, all this shit, the negatives, all the negatives of people, I think it's within all of us. Just like we're all capable of violence, right? We're all capable of violence. The main thing is that, you know what? We on the individual level, we control that shit, right? So let's say a bias, we control our biases, right? And that's the thing. That makes us more civilized, more morally sound, whatever, right? So that's the thing where I think within all of us, we have the magnitude of the negative and the positive, okay? But it's hopeful that, you know what, we control ourselves to be more positive than negative. But again, I can't hate somebody for having the negative side of us because it's in all of us, right? So that's why I go back to what I said before. The only way to achieve this utopia that the left, that Democrats want, is that we erase humans or erase the very existence of humans.
Well, then it defeats our purpose being here. It defeats. So you eliminate our species?
No. This is the thing. This is why I said that.
Delete humans.
No, this is the thing, right? Humans, I think more of us are good than bad. More of us control our degeneracy.
I agree.
Yeah. So no, I don't think so, right? I don't equate our bad, right? The few, because let's say even hypothetically during the time of, let's say, slavery, very few people actually owned slaves, but yet we blame all of white culture, all of white people for slavery. We blame all of America for slavery, right? This is the thing where I think that's ridiculous, right? We constantly use the bad to cover the whole of whatever, right? And we do that with everything, right? We do this with black people. We do this we do it with everyone, right? We always like put a big emphasis on the negative, right? And I this is why I think that no, I mean, like, it's there, but again,
yes, that's why you should never paint a broad, as they say, you should never paint a broad something with a broad brush or something like that.
Broad stroke.
Yeah. So, just because one person did it, that doesn't mean they're all the same.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. And then that's what I mean by, like, privilege was white privilege was more, was prevalent, in the past, but like, that's what I'm saying. And nowadays, no, because we are now more aware of everything, as time moves on. Yeah, there's only, little cases, here and there. That's it.
Let's see if we could get on the same page. I can agree with you that there was once white privilege. Why can I agree with that, right? There was once at a time where universities, stores, whatever, was whites only. It doesn't matter if you're poor, doesn't matter if you're wealthy, just about your skin tone. That is when I say there's white privilege, because they cared, because society cared because of your skin tone, right? That's where, I mean, where we could find maybe yo, why? What is up, my brother? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. How is the fishing? How is the fishing, my brother? That's where I can be on the same board with you. This is why I say that was when I saw white privilege, right? Where people made it a fact, made it a point. Because you're white, I'm going to do this for you. Because you're white, you can go here. But because you're black, you can't go here. That is when I say, yes, 100%, there was white privilege. Today, 2026, I'm sorry, there's no clear example of white privilege, right? Because for every one case of, let's say, like we were talking about, a white judge being lenient to a white defendant, I can say a black judge being lenient to a black defendant, right? I just don't see that. And I don't even see it. It's because of race, right? It's because of our individual biases, right? Now this is the thing. Now it's on the individual level. Before, it was on the societal level, right? Laws or societal. So it was more consistent, right? The logic was more consistent where I can see the privilege, right? That is how I can, yes, agree that there was white privilege. Today, I can't not apply that same logic today because there's no white only places. Hell, there are places where, you know what? There are black only places, right? Certain clubs, certain whatever, right? Certain universities. Or, you know what? Women are pushing. I just did this a video of a woman said there should be more women only gyms. So it's like, okay, so it's consistent to only, it's like, so that's why it's like hard for me to say that, okay, there's white privilege. No, there's biases, human biases. But I agree. This is why the basis of, yes, there was a time in history. I agree 100%. There was white privilege and it shows and it was consistent. That privilege was an actual privilege and it was consistent, right? Black people didn't experience this. No one else experienced it. Only white people, thanks to their skin tone.
Yes. So, like another example would be like, Hollywood, right? And this is what I mean by like, oftentimes, yeah, people, the way we, whenever we hear white privilege, it's sort of like, sounds like a knock on white people or a shot of a diss at white people. But no, like privilege, like in Hollywood, you know, um, there white people were, if you were to give see who got the roles and stuff, it's white people. But it's not because, it's not necessarily because of the, because they're white, the white skin. It's because the white people were the majority of the people. They were just the majority of people. There are some, there's some off cases where, the role is supposed to be played by, a black person or a Mexican or Asian, and a white person got it, right? But see, and that's what I mean by like in today's time, because when we are more aware of stuff like that, it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
It hardly ever happens. Yes, yeah. We are progressing as a nation.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll move on. Big Bars, what is up, my brother?
What's up with you? How you doing, Ray? Yeah, I just want to chime in on what y'all was talking about real quick, and then we can move on.
I'll let you end out on the on this topic, and we'll move on.
Yeah, I think I'm the history guy. I'm a history buff, and I think that taking if you really truly take history into account, there I'm not now. I agree with you. We went from privilege to more of a bias, more of a tribalism, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I agree with that point. But then I also agree with Ray. If if a certain amount of people was held back for so long, it is privilege, really. It kind of is because they had just like the N-word people and what they did to the J-word people. You know what I'm saying? They took all their riches, they took all their stuff, and that is privilege. Where you think all these rich people got how they got rich? A lot of these people they got rich because they stole from other people. And so it's kind of like y'all both in a way are right, and I feel like y'all both are kind of right. But if you take history into account, people were held back for a long time, so one race could achieve what they achieved. You know what I'm saying? They did, in my opinion, they didn't do it by the grit, pulling themselves up by their bootstraps. They did a lot of pillaging to get where they are. So in my opinion, you kind of see that as in a way kind of privilege. But I agree with you. We have moved from white privilege to maybe more of a bias, maybe more of a tribalism, you know.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I kind of know that what Ray said about the how people get different times for for the same thing. That does happen highly. You'll have somebody with a key that gets 5 years, and you have somebody with a key that gets 15 years. And that is and what you were saying about like a black judge against a black person, they're going to be more likely to fry that black person because they want to keep their job. They want to keep money flowing into their pocket. So they're going to fire that person because they know it's enough people around them that will, tribalism will, get them out. That's just how I felt. I think y'all both right in certain respects, but you gotta hold into account that certain people held a lot of other people back, took their slavery. How many
Mhm.
things were created by black people that white people took credit for? You just got to be honest about it. I'm
Yes.
I'm I'm not saying you be mad and you. Well, I agree with you, Da. You don't let it hold you back. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? We're finally to the point where we can excel. So we need to excel. That's how I feel. I agree with you on that point. We don't have the restraints that we used to have, but you still got to kind of count it. It's like an asterisk. Just like P Rose and the asterisk with the steroids. It's an asterisk there. You got to put it there. You know what I'm saying? So I
Hmm.
think y'all both right in a lot of respect. You're both right. That's just how I
Okay.
feel about it.
Okay.
Another thing I'll say to D, it's like, there's nothing wrong with acknowledging what happened.
Oh
And
no. Hmm.
and oftentimes, people think that by acknowledging what happened, that, um that like acknowledging that it happened, it's gonna, means that you have to do something about it. Not necessarily,
Okay.
not necessarily. So,
Okay.
and when you get people that refuses to acknowledge, what happened, the other people are going to see it as, okay, that means that, like, why are you fighting against facts? I guess you could sort of say.
Okay. I mean, no. Here's my thing, right? I'm gonna try to end this particular topic with this, and then we'll try to finish this video and then move on to another video.
Okay.
Um, I've said this countless times before. Okay, I give mad respect to the black community because thanks to them, Civil Rights Act, they allowed other minorities to live the life
Mm-hmm.
they live in America. I respect the hell of black ancestors. Um, I think 100% we should learn history. 100%. My problem, and has always been the problem, is that do not be shackled to history. In today, 2026, we still have people blaming racism, blaming the white man, blaming white supremacy, blaming white privilege about why you can't save, budget, invest, get a job, work hard, work smart, don't stop spending your money. I mean, there's stats, there's statistics that when a black person gets a paycheck, it's spent in 24 hours. While, like, let's say a white person gets a check, it takes a whole week for that check to be spent, right? And it's spent not even like it's spent on like bills, savings, all that shit, right? So it's like because today so many people, no, I'm not saying, I say this, particularly people online, people in real life are drastically different than people online, right? People online are so fixated on victimhood. It is such a detriment. It's tiring, right? I agree, learn history. I disagree using history to say why in 2026 you can't achieve is the most stupidest thing ever to me.
I
So,
agree.
all right, let's finish this video and let's check something else out.
Yeah, but this wouldn't have to do with women, because obviously, if you had a brother or men could also be in that same exact situation. The question really is about women. How are women oppressed?
I believe women are oppressed in their daily lives. You can go down the street.
And you see, this is the mindset, right? This is the problem mindset, right? We're pushing this for women. We're pushing this for Black Americans. You're oppressed. You're oppressed. You're oppressed. It's such a dangerous shit. It's honestly, it's victimhood, and I hate it. I honestly hate constantly thinking you're oppressed. When people think they're oppressed, they won't want to do anything because they are. I can't do shit because I'm oppressed. I can't do shit because of the white man. I can't do shit because of men. It's the victimhood mindset is an easy, lazy ass excuse.
I don't even think it's true because women gotta understand. Like I said, in history, a lot of men did a lot of stuff to protect women and children. First of all, second of all, when feminism did come into power, it was a sick form of affirmative action that happened where women. That's why I think it's so messed up now. It was that form of affirmative action that happened. So women are so far ahead of men that got treated like dogs and got put on all kind of medicine when they was in school, so they couldn't even learn properly. You know, you gotta. I just think we have to. We can't leave stuff out. We gotta hold all this stuff. All this stuff has a weighing in it. I totally agree with you 100% that we're finally we fought to get to the point where we're kind of on uh I won't say equal, but we can actually kind of pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. We've gotten to that point, but you still gotta account all the stuff because that's why some people in the black community are so thrown off because their genetic bloodlines have been watered down. We have to take into account that. You know what I'm saying? It's like that did happen. You know what I'm saying? That did happen. Like I say all the time, the slave master was in the slave's house more than his own bed. You know what I'm saying? And that did happen. It was a thing.
Just right off of the street.
Well, so I mean, I would just start off by saying that catcalling is bad, but I don't think that rises to oppression. Like some guy, again, I don't think catcalling is good, but some dickhead guy saying, "Hey, nice tits" or whatever. I don't think that's impolite. That's rude. That's super disrespectful. Don't think that rises to the level of oppression.
There's also
but really quick, you also mentioned violence.
Yeah, for instance.
I didn't want to glance over that. You said violence. So
yes,
yeah.
Like if you can go to the bar with you can sit on the bench for the bus and wait for the bus. And if you're not harassed, I think every woman has experienced harassment at least once in her life by a man doing a regular everyday thing. I think when it becomes so prevalent in society that it becomes a form of oppression.
Well, I'm with you there in the sense that yes, women do get harassed. You'll perhaps be approached and it's unwanted. Not even going to contest that. But I was asking you about violence. So
I believe harassment is a form of violence.
Well,
that is another problem I have with I'm sorry, this is unintelligent women. Right? This is an unintelligent woman. This is the problem I have with people like this today. Saying harassment is violence is absolutely spitting on women that actually receive violence. Did you know that a lot of these stats that are pushed around today about women are being experienced 3 out of 5 women experience SA. Do you know a lot of these stats, these studies with SA, women will say SA is you touching their shoulder. Women say SA is you hugging them inappropriately. Women say SA is like you giving them unwanted attention. Just like this woman saying, right? Harassment is violence. Just like what Brian was saying, yes, that's disgusting. That's disrespectful. That's not cool. But this is the problem where a lot of women don't realize. Just like how women say, "Oh, you know what? false accusation is not that big of a deal, right? Or they don't chastise women that falsely accuse men, because you don't realize that mars the actual victims, right? That lessens. You don't realize that if women don't like take accountability or hold other women accountable, right? How dare you say harassment is violence? Because that means that now men think that, okay, if women that experience actual violence, they say, you probably didn't experience violence. He probably just catcalled you, right? So it lessens the degrees of actual victims. And this is the problem I have with the left, with women like this, with modern day feminism. These women are absolutely the reason why, honestly, a lot of men are not on women's side, because this delusion, this stupidity of so many women. Okay, you are hurting actual victims with mindset like this, and this is why I find this honestly utterly disgusting. I really do.
Yeah,
Because
it's not violence. It's not violence, but then it can be, the sort of how do you say it, like the gateway to violence, if that makes sense. You know, like it could lead to it. That's what it is.
I mean, to
But
be honest,
it as itself, are you saying, what do you think sexual harassment is?
sexual harassment is actual sexual. I mean, like, in my opinion, right? Sexual harassment should be actual, let's say a man touches your boobs, your ass, your private parts, right? I think that is more sexual harassment. Today, people say that if I hug you, if I put my hand on your shoulder, even if I bumped you, right? That can be SA to a lot of these women in a lot of these studies where they say, "Oh, I've been harassed, SA'd, right, by these men." But the women that actually, because you got to think about this. If you use the lesser of crimes to be on equal terms with the higher crimes, that means the higher crimes, when it happens, people may misconstrue that as just a lesser crime, right? Or a lesser act. And that's the problem, okay? You can't say a man that harassed you as violent. You can't say a man that, hugged you inappropriately, or, approach you inappropriately, or, bumped your shoulder, put a hand on your shoulder, whatever, as actual SA. It's inappropriate. It's inappropriate. It's disgusting. It's disrespectful, but it mars the actual words, right? Because we would hope that the word SA is extreme, because it should mean something, right? Harassment, violence, all these words, they should mean something. But when you put it at a lesser degree, it just makes things weak.
Self-made black in the chat, actually, I think that's um I think he defined it like perfectly, as in, harassment, see, can lead to violence. And sure, they are related, not in the same saying as both are equal. Yes, it can lead to it, not saying that it is. And
I don't disagree.
when she said that it is, yeah, that's where she's wrong. Yes.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but here's the thing where it's just it's a slippery slope, right? It's a slippery slope where should we punish people for the may happen? It's a slippery slope.
Right.
It really is. Okay.
So you're saying you shouldn't punish harassment? Everything, there's levels to it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's we have to be more specific, when we talk about stuff like this, like the level of it. Because sometimes I'm referring to, the level spectrum, whatever you want to call it, right? Oftentimes we think the extreme, case, while this person maybe just be referring to the lighter, spectrum of it, or lighter level of harassment. Because harassment, it refers to this persistent, unwanted behavior or communication intended to distress, annoy, or intimidate someone, whereas violence involves the actual attempted or threatened use of physical force likely to cause bodily injury. While harassment can escalate to violence, they are distinct in both legal definition and execution.
No, I mean,
I
again,
agree with
I
you.
agree that it's harassment, right? A man that doing all that stuff is harassing you 100%. I just think that we should categorize it correctly, right?
Yeah.
Because it could mar the actual, other, like I said, if a man hugs you inappropriately, he's harassing you 100%. He's not essaying you. I'm sorry, he's not. So that's my thing.
I think that the word she used in the definition, persistent, and I think
Mhm.
that's the thing. I think first of all, when I say women, I'm not talking to Ray. She's a sensible woman. I'm not talking to her. I think it would be kind of asinine to group everybody when making a statement. I think I shouldn't have to necessarily say some women or most women. I should be
Right.
able to say just women, and if it hit those holler, hit those holler. But
Yeah,
I
I
think what
agree.
you said persistent. And I think that in some ways women have been coddled so much that they think that if somebody approaches them one time, it's SA or harassment, and it's not. It If I hug somebody one time and then they tell me I'm not comfortable with that and I continue, that is harassment. But if
Hmm.
I stop, it's not harassment. You told
Right.
me what it was. I made my move. You told me I'm not open to that move, and that's okay. We were good. That's not harassment. That's not SA. That's not nothing. That's just human interaction. I think we're mixing human interaction with SA and harassment, which
Yeah.
is
Hmm.
a very slippery slope. Very slippery slope.
Okay,
And like,
so I want to do this, right? I'm going to. I don't know if you've seen it, right? Dizzy in the chat. She's controversial.
mm,
She wants to come up. I'm going to let her up because it might be something. So please, right? I know you guys might. Who knows what you guys will say to each other? So please try your best to be respectful. Try your best to, let's keep it fun, right? If you're gonna say something, fine, but it's like just try not to be crazy, right?
mm.
I just have a little bit of decorum, right? I get it. You, Jessica or Dizzy, I know you're gonna be controversial, but I want to give people voices, right? So I'll give people chances. Hopefully you won't be too extreme, but it might be fun. Jessica,
Yeah.
what is up?
Hey.
Oh,
What?
I didn't know. Interesting name.
Excuse me.
Dizzy, right?
Hi.
Is that the same one as the username as Dizzy?
No. I'm Jessica.
Okay. But I mean, is that's not the same person in the chat, right? Dizzy or no?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so wrong person because someone else was asking to come up. So what's up? What's up?
Well, I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, did you have any opinions right now? What are your thoughts already? Okay,
Mhm,
wrong
mhm.
person because I know Dizzy was asking to come up. I thought it was just a different person. Trolls are trolls, right? It happens, right?
It
It's all
happens
good.
to you. Mhm.
I don't mind. Trolls will always come. All right, let's continue.
I'm not trying to minimize that women can feel uncomfortable when they get.
No, I think it was a guy trolling. So it is what it is. It happens. It's cool, right? It happens.
Unwanted attention from men. I think we should be precise in our characterizations of things. When I'm thinking of violence, I'm thinking
AJ, what is up, my brother? What is up? Thank you for stopping by, my brother.
Hey, AJ.
essentially physical assault or battery of some kind.
Okay.
Yeah, violence. So, again, I'm not saying that that's fine. Like, if men are just harassing you verbally or whatever, but I think that.
Yeah, I think he was pretty much going to say the same thing. That let's categorize things correctly. Let's try another video.
The words have meanings for a reason. But like Ray said, the persistent, that is the harassment. Persistent. When I told this person, don't touch me, don't hug me like that, and they continue to. That's harassment to me. That's SA harassment or whatever. Really, SA is the great word to me. Mixing them, those two words don't have the They shouldn't even be used in the same breath to me. Actually, really, no, my opinion.
So, AJ, any thoughts today?
Yeah, just the one video that you showed, the B dub with the braid. She was trying to say that like white people would eat black people or whatever, and she's had this whole narrative that like somehow Europeans are so much more racist than anyone else. And it's like, no, like that everyone around the world has done bad stuff to each other. Like if you look at the research, the Japanese were way worse in World War II than the Germans at that particular time. Like people focus on what happened in Europe, but 10 times worse happened in Asia. You look at like, you know, Nanking, you know, the Philippines, Papua New Guinea, French, and China. The Japanese did way worse. So to act like one group of people is like magically worse than the other is insane. But I think that Andrew Wilson, he had a good video. He shared these studies that actually shows that when you hold men and women to the same standard of SA, men get SA'd way more than women. You look at unwanted touching, unwanted advances. I mean, how many times have you been in a club or a bar and some chick just starts grinding up on a guy, you're rubbing his shoulders, a girl like sits in a random guy's lap. You see like there'll be like a young, I don't know, like a football player like a high school football player, and like one of the moms like, ooh, you're big and strong. You know what I'm saying? Like men, we don't report this, but per that standard, that's SA, right?
No.
Except no one says anything. Even these teachers that we see every other day who are getting caught essaying their male students, they get a
no, yeah.
This is almost daily. This happens.
Yes, I'm seeing more and more in the news.
I disagree with that, and the reason why I disagree is because, you know, for it to be considered SA, it has to be, you know, like someone could, you know, touch you, but you know, it has to be like you have to like it has to be unwanted, you know.
Yes, and then oftentimes a strange woman will walk up to a man at a bar and like grind up on him. How are you doing? He doesn't want you. So you think that all men want strange women to touch them?
No, I'm not saying all.
No.
You know, but at the club and stuff, when women, you know, if a woman's dancing with a guy, most likely, like,
no,
he's gonna be okay, you know, okay with it.
No, we're not gonna be okay with it. Here's the thing. I have, in my personal life, and this is anecdotal, but I've had to do an actual harassment claim on a woman at work because she wouldn't leave me alone. It got to the point where I had to go to my boss's boss and sit down and do paperwork and everything. I've seen guys where they're, especially guys who have girlfriends, guys who have wives, and they're just sitting there minding their own business, and some chick will come up and touch them. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't even get your victim blaming now, right? You don't say that with women. We have to hold the same standard. There's no real reason why, per these standards, any person who doesn't know that person should be touching them.
Yes, I agree. Yes.
I'm an extrovert, but I hate strangers touching me. And I'm 6'3", so I'm a large guy, so I take up space. But I don't like people touching me, especially as I get older. I've always been like, what happens is that we naturally think, well, she's a 5'4" little chick, so he's not threatened. But at the same time, men should be able to protect their person, should be able to have their private space. And this is an instinct. This is a societal conditioned thing, yes, where we think that women aren't an actual threat. But now there's all this data saying that women tend to break the physical touch barrier in DV cases first. So they pass all of these laws where if the cops get called for DV, someone needs to go to jail. But if you look at all these body cam videos and all this, 9 times out of 10, the woman goes to jail because she's scratching, kicking, and he's trying to hold her off. In general, if you look at the studies now, men are actually SA'd at equal rates, if not more. But here's the kicker, and DA knows this too because he said this once on his show. When they talk, we know the R word, the grape word. That's a clear definition. When they made SA, they made it so broad that you can call it anything.
Yeah, I said that.
Except when a man's involved, and then all of a sudden he can't get SA. My point is, they defined the R word as any unwanted act of sex. The feminists, now change it to it has to be a penetrative act. What that does is, per the law, it makes it impossible for a woman to do that to a male unless she takes an object and does it. Do you see how they make the R word as if it's intrinsically a gendered act when they change the law to where it has to be a penetrative act, which means that that's going to skew towards one sex, which are males. But if you take that standard away to how it used to be, that's unwanted sexual contact, all of a sudden it skews way towards women. And then my brother went to school in Vegas, so a lot of the guys that he used to work out with at the gym, they were the Thunder from Down Under guys. Yes. You think men are crazy in the strip club? Women are 10 times more crazy. Yes. They have no boundaries at all. What I'm saying is, from my perspective, I just want there to be equal standards. Women get 45% less time for the equal crimes. And when it comes to SA and other things, they get no punishment. What I'm saying is bury men under the jail, bury women under the jail. Men shouldn't be touching women. Women shouldn't be touching men in an unwanted.
Keep your hands to yourself, people. Jesus.
Because if I had a daughter and a son, I would feel equally bad if both of them. And you guys, here's the craziest thing, and I'll just head out here in a second. I read a thing when I first started doing Redpill stuff. Ask that so many young boys lost their V card to an older woman, a babysitter, their mom's friend, their female PE teacher. Next time that you're in a setting where you can bring this up, ask your male friends or your dad or your uncles or whatever, ask them who their first was. And a lot of times I would say almost 50-50. It was a babysitter. It was their mom's friend. It was a woman who was significantly older than them. Once you open this Pandora's box, it's absolutely insane when you hear how much this happens and no one says anything. And no minors should be engaged in this at all because it's damaging to boys and girls. But once you see how much no one cares about male victims of DV and SA and DA, I'll try and email you this, but there was a documentary in Australia about the woman who started the very first men's DV shelter, and her
I know about it.
Yeah. That was the one where her son was 6'7", 280, and his girlfriend was 5'2", 120, and she would beat him up, and he's like, "It's okay, mom, she can't hurt me." But the thing about women who abuse, it escalates and escalates and escalates because they feel like they can't hurt the guy. So she finally grabbed a kitchen knife. They said that she was so angry that the blade went through the guy and into the wood. That's how nuts that she was. And no one would help her son. And now she started this non-profit and tried to, that actually helps men who are victims. And she said she got so much pushback from the Australian government because they didn't think that was needed at all. So what I'm saying is that when it comes to this type of stuff, we need to understand. I hold men and women to the same standard. Saying that we all know that men can be lying, cheating pieces of trash. We know this. Women can be lying, cheating pieces of trash too. You can say that so without saying you hate women. It's just saying, look, there's bad women, there's bad men. There's good women, there's good men. What I'm saying is that the good men and the good women need to band together, right? And shun the bad men and the bad women instead of the good women circling the wagons around the bad ones, just like us blacks do for freaking Nug and Glocktavia. You know what I'm saying? The one thing big bars can attest to that black people needed to stop doing, productive blacks, middle class, upper class, whatever, we need to stop defending nug. In the sisterhood with you women, I'm telling you, the last thing that women need to do is defend these idiots in the same way that Asian women, Hispanic women, non-white women need to stop showing out for these white liberal feminists who can't stand you guys. They can't stand it. The moment that you add race in, look at how privileged white women are, and Asian women, Hispanic women, black women. These white women could care less about you guys. But when the time for votes comes, oh, they sure do want you guys then. So, but all right, guys, I'm gonna jump off. Sorry,
thank you for coming by, my brother.
That you got a troll, man. You know,
it's all good. I don't mind trolls. It's
that people have nothing better to do. So,
bye,
guys. Take it
later,
easy.
brother.
Take it easy.
You know, this
I
is
agree with what you're saying.
That is kind of why I'm 100% supportive of all of us have equal rights, right? Because at the end of the day, with equal rights, you have no one to blame but yourself. That is why I don't believe, this is why I believe the things I believe in. Like, I don't believe in white privilege and all that shit. Because at today, 100% today, we have equal rights, right? No one is stopping you from achieving, only yourself. So if you want to blame anyone in society today, blame yourself. That's how I see it. And to be honest, even though I say take away the voting rights, I don't mean it, right? Because hell, 100% women should vote, because if shit happens, we share the blame, right? You can't blame men for shit to happen because women are part of it. So
exactly,
so even if I say those certain things, right? I mean, to be honest, I don't believe women should not be able to vote. I believe most people shouldn't be able to vote, right? So, like, yes, as being hyperbolic when I focus on women, but my true statement, my true belief is that I believe most people shouldn't vote. I believe you should have a basis for how you can vote, not just because you're a citizen, or not just because you're, I don't know, 18 or whatever. So that's my thing.
I think you should know something. You should have to know something to vote. I'm like, I hate to, bring everything to a standardized test, but you should know something. You should know when the country was found. You should know certain things you should know. You know what I'm saying? Even if the test was 10 questions, you should know 5 or 6 of them. That's just what it is. And I agree with AJ that I agree with AJ that good men and good women need to band together against these bad men and bad women. But what I do notice, I kind of do notice, is that more a man will punch a bad man in the face for acting crazy against a woman. But a woman will, yeah, girl, a woman bigs up the insanity. I see that more than I see, on the other hand. So
You're
it's
right.
like,
Women, we need to do a better job at holding bad women accountable. Yes.
yes, you need to break that sisterhood. It's like a true sisterhood needs to come in, and I think men in some respects are on the precipice of having a real brotherhood, and I think if women broke away from the bad women, then that would create a new brother and sisterhood of actual good people, and I think that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Yo, great timing, right? TBD. I have another video, right? Maybe a little bit out of your, both of your wheelhouses. It's going to be talking about the UK. Now, why I constantly from time to time I talk about the UK because I think UK is like a canary in the coal mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the UK is so similar to the US. I believe what's happening in the UK could happen into the West, so in America. So this is why sometimes I talk about it, because they're so similar to us, right? Pretty much with everything. So if something happens there, there's a high likelihood that might happen here. So this video, I wanted to check it out and see maybe if you guys have any opinions on it. I probably have some opinions on it, but maybe you guys have it. So let's check this video out.
One mile apart in London this weekend, in all senses other than geography, they couldn't be further apart. Tommy Robinson's Unite the Kingdom March is, he says, a fight for national identity. The March for Palestine, on the other hand, So this fighting racism on the far right. There's an extreme representation of the growing division in the country, which feels like it's becoming more extreme. The two big winners in last week's regional elections here were populists on the far right and far left. Nigel Farage's reform made historic gains, but so did the Green Party, which doesn't talk much about the environment anymore, but is the loudest voice against what it calls Israeli apartheid and genocide. Several Green candidates were suspended for spreading anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. A victorious reform candidate said Nigerians should be melted down to fill potholes. Both parties, nonetheless, delivered such a crushing blow to the Prime Minister that he might not survive, and both parties will be very well represented at the two competing rallies on Saturday. Previous pro-Palestine rallies have resulted controversially in hundreds of arrests. This time the Prime Minister's focus appears to be on the other side.
And you'll see it again on Saturday at a march designed to confront and intimidate this diversity and this diverse country. That is why this Labour government will block far-right agitators from travelling to Britain for that event. Because we will not allow people to come to the UK to threaten our community and spread hate on our streets.
Well, Tony Robinson spent months courting support from many MAGA organisers and influencers, as well as making high-profile trips to Israel. Broadcaster Glenn Beck will be joining the rally, while others, including Colombian racist Valentina Gomez, have been denied entry. You might ask why, on both sides of this apparent battle for the soul of Britain, such a fixation on everywhere other than Britain, from the Brits marching against Israel to the Israel-backing Americans telling us how to be British. And that's always been my suspicion about extremes, whatever side they're on. They say they're fighting for your interest, but they're often fighting somebody else's. Here to debate this is the host of Crucible, Andrew Wilson, Ava Santini, the political editor at Politics Joe, a Green Party activist and Beck University Associate Professor Ashok Kumar, and Ben Habib, leader of Farage's rival Advance UK, and the co-founder of Vice Media and the Proud Boys, Gavin McInnes. All right, well, welcome to you. It's certainly a perfect panel to debate all this. Ava Santini, there are these two marches. I believe fundamentally in free speech. That includes the right to peacefully protest and to peacefully march and protest if you see fit. Do you have an intrinsic problem with the Tommy Robinson Unite for the Kingdom march?
I'm going to surprise you and say no. I am actually very pro-protest, and I think that any protest that people would like to hold, I do think should be granted in the United Kingdom. If you want to turn up and make a fool of yourself and spout racist nonsense, then that is your right to do so, because we live in a democratic society and a country that does allow that. I'm actually really interested in something you brought up in your introduction there, Piers, because you talked about the number of arrests that had allegedly happened at a March for Palestine rally. Actually, if you look at the Tommy Robinson rallies over the last couple of years, there have been a whole number of arrests. Just last September, there were 20 officers who were injured because people were throwing...
Have a good night, Justin. Thank you for stopping by, my brother.
Bottles at them. There was an officer with a broken nose. I mean, can you imagine that? Smashing up a policeman's nose. It doesn't really seem very patriotic to me. But again, if they want to be idiotic and act like that, then fine.
And to be clear, on the Palestine march, should anybody have a banner saying, or a chant that says globalize the intifada, for example, what would you feel about that?
I'm not a theologian, so it's not something that I can really speak to. I understand that the Jewish community have expressed upset when that phrase is being chanted. I actually think there are much bigger things to worry about on those marches at times. I think there have been a couple of people who have showed some anti-Semitic.
I don't think I've ever heard of that, right? Restore? I've never heard of that party. I've heard of the Labour Party. I've heard of the Green Party. It's like the UK is interesting because they have multiple parties, which is interesting. But yeah, that's interesting. Just for you guys to read.
I think to answer that question, it's like, in a way, the UK is trying to skip over A, B, and C and get to D. And you can't do that. That doesn't make sense. You have to address the issues. And they haven't addressed the issues. They want to act like they don't want. That's my big problem with people who think that history doesn't matter. It does. You know what I'm saying? You can't overlook certain things and just jump to the end and say, oh, well, we're not that way no more. You have to kind of take into account the whole of the thing. And I just think they're just so PC. You know,
Zyrex, it's all good, PC. Right? Zyrex got to go. It's all good. I love you. Thank you for stopping by. You're beautiful, my sister. I get it. You got things you got to do. So just me and you, we'll react to this. Hopefully it'll be good.
And actually, thankfully, the March for Palestine group have kicked those people out and have been very forceful about them not attending.
But that phrase, the globalizing.
I would say, I think we get really distracted by this phrase. You know, people who go on these marches are not going on these marches because they don't like Jewish people or because they do actually want to see, I don't know, an Islamic regime in the United Kingdom or whatever.
Well, that's not really true. They're not. It is true in a sense that they are anti-Israel and anti what's going on with Gaza and all that, but they're not really turning out for that reason in the UK. They're turning out because they're saying that the other side is racist. They're saying that Tommy Robinson's protest is a bunch of racists. I mean, you can read article after article of the opposition saying this. So I'm fully 100% behind these rallies. I think that they need to remove. Remove the Muslim element from the UK altogether. That's what I would advocate for. Yes, that's correct.
What are you talking about?
Remove the Muslim element.
Well,
It means no more mass migration from Muslim nations to the UK. That's insane.
But we have about 5 million Muslims in the UK. What would you do with them?
Well, the ones that are there, you can't do very much about, but you can do something about continuing the immigration policies. It's suicidal empathy. You don't need to do it.
So just to be clear, Andrew, you wouldn't let any Muslims into the country?
Yeah, well, people have a right. They have an autonomous right to determine who comes into their nation and who doesn't. If the people of the nation don't want a people group to come into their nation, that is their right. Just like it's the right of people in Muslim nations to make those determinations for themselves as well.
I just find that whole thing totally ludicrous. I mean, if you knew anything about net migration to the United Kingdom, it doesn't come from quote unquote Muslim countries. There are not Muslim people who are breaking into the country and trying to turn it into, I don't know, some sort of Islamic state. Like it's simply not happening here. And I really worry about the sort of talking points that you are spouting and potentially you are reading. I mean, I live in London. I've always lived in London. This is not a reality.
Who's your mayor in London? What's actually incorrect
about? Yeah, Sadiq Khan. And what about it?
Let's look at some more of your leaders.
We'll come to you.
I just want to know what's actually incorrect about me saying if the people of the UK do not want any more migration of Muslim immigrants into their nation. Can you give me a single moral argument for why that's
Well, that's simply not true. Well, where have you got that idea? Apart from Tommy Robinson. Other than Tommy Robinson, Andrew, honestly, to be honest, other than Tommy Robinson marching around the airways in America saying that, I have not seen any poll in the UK which says the UK people don't want any Muslims coming into the country.
Yeah, I understand.
It's not
true. That's not my question. My question is, if it were the case that the people of the UK no longer wanted Muslim migration into their nation, what is even the moral argument against that? What?
I am very concerned about actually Christian evangelicism that's seeping over into the United Kingdom from the United States. And I think that that is actually a source for much of our discontent. I've always lived in London and we don't have a single problem with integration between religions in the country. I've never experienced that in my life. May I finish with this? I would just like to stay on Sadiq Khan for one moment then. Now, if there was a huge problem with Sadiq Khan, why on earth would such a huge proportion of Londoners from all creed, all race hate us?
Where has London gone?
60% of Londoners weren't born in London. They weren't born in the United Kingdom. I think that's the point Andrew's making.
Where is London gone? I see one of the most vibrant, dynamic cities in the world.
It may be vibrant.
Go to Harrods after this and tell me what country you're in.
Where?
It may be.
Hang on.
Harrods.
What was that? Nowhere. Harrods.
Yes.
Well, actually, you've now reminded me to play a clip because you came on my show last week. You then went on Think Glenn Beck and you said this.
Piers is an elite. He's never been to Luton. He doesn't understand the working class. You know, he probably doesn't go to any football matches with these people. He's got his own little box. And they don't understand that the Muslim problem is within the working class. They're not in, Cheddington. They're not in the West London. Yeah. They're not in South England. They're all concentrated in Birmingham, in Rotherham, in Luton, and those towns are gone.
Just to clear up, I've been to Luton many times. I go to football all the time. I often sit with regular fans.
Have you been to a Luton match?
Hang on.
No one understands a Luton match.
I often go. Well, I wouldn't go to a Luton football match because the leader of the Luton football hooligan firm for a long time was a guy called Stephen Yaxley, who's now Tommy Robinson. In fact, he has multiple criminal convictions for running.
Why is no one
Well, wait a second, Gavin. Wait a second. I'm responding to what you told Glenn Beck. If you ask why I don't go and watch Luton Town, A, I'm an Arsenal fan and we're about to win everything. But secondly, Luton Town had a big hooligan problem caused by Tommy Robinson under his real name, Stephen Yaxley. He was the leader of the hooligan mob.
What is the problem with hooliganism? It's mutual combat. It's a sport.
It's not mutual combat. It's a bunch of Neanderthals beating each other up and dragging into this rally. But let me finish my point.
Not to join Tommy Robinson.
Gavin,
that's anti-Britain.
Gavin, I'm going to come to your... Gavin, you haven't even asked my view yet. My point is I'm responding to what you told Glenn Beck. I go to football all the time. I've been a football fan for 45, 50 years. I regularly stood on the terraces with the working class fans. Let me tell you about hospitality boxes over in America that somehow only people who are not working class watch football from hospitality boxes is bullshit. So I went to a state school with working class people. I consider myself working class. My working class man.
To avoid Tommy.
I'll tell you why, as long as his arm. You've tried to defend him. I got to do a thread, you said last year, on all Tommy's crimes. They showcase Britain's madness. Let's go through these crimes. Assault, 2005. Common assault, 2011. Leading 100-man football, repeated jailing.
You don't know what the background.
Hang on. Repeated jailing, being suppressed, libel action, and was ordered to pay £100,000 in credit in his film, and that was a repeat of the defamation, a breach of the contempt of court, and he went to prison for it. You're all being...
He was guilty of the accusations made against him is academic. The point is that the civil case that was founded against Tommy Robinson was a civil case, and Lord Hermer politicised the whole thing. Lord Hermer being the Attorney General,
so did Piers.
a political appointment, ennobled in order to get him into the cabinet, decided to elevate the importance of that civil case to a criminal level, and he can only do that if he can convince himself that that is a matter of public interest. That jailing of Tommy Robinson in 2024 was a political jailing.
No, it wasn't.
Yes,
it wasn't. It was
Oh,
a court order to stop him repeating his lies about that Syrian
This is why
refugee.
May 16th is
There
going
was
to
a
pop
court
off.
order.
Because of people like you.
Yeah, you're all being sold. You are all being completely duped by Tommy Robinson. By the way, let's call him Stephen. His real name is Stephen.
I've studied
He's not
the
even
case.
called Tommy Robinson.
I've studied the case. I've studied the case. It's got nothing to do with whether or not that Syrian boy was rightfully or wrongfully accused of what he was doing. What it's got to do with is Tommy Robinson refusing to take his film down, and Hermer, a political appointment, interceding, and instead of the punishment typically for breaching an injunction in a civil action is a...
I can tell you the reason why. He knows that if we do it here in England, and I ask him to repeat his lies about that Syrian boy that you've all swallowed in America, if he repeats them, he goes back to jail. You believed his lies. And fall on you.
It's illegal
fall
for
on
him
you,
to
Gavin.
talk about that boy.
Fall on, no,
It's
it's not illegal.
for him.
He lost the defamation case.
Has made it illegal
He
for him
lost
to
the
discuss the
defamation case.
But that was a civil case, Piers.
You
And
did it silence him.
and you don't go to jail for losing civil cases.
Let me bring in Ashok here. Ashok, look, we're getting slightly sidetracked, but I do think the credibility of Tommy Robinson and the damage that he does in America about...
And you see that this is a thing where, my thing is that, why I even watch this stuff, but the stuff about the UK is because, yes, I think there is an invasion of the Muslim in the UK, right? I definitely see that. Two, I think that because of this stuff, right, we're seeing less freedom of speech in the UK, right? And all these little things is what I want to know about, because I feel like there's a possibility of it happening in the US, right? So this is why I listen to these things. I get it, right? It doesn't affect us right now. The shit that happened in the UK, who cares? But I think there's a potentiality for shit like this seeping over to our country if we let these liberals, these crazy ass Democrats, these progressives, if they take control, this is the path it will lead us to.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. And I think anybody from America, American citizen who defends somebody being able to come to this country, keep their citizenship in another country and operate in certain ways in this country, especially get loans and all that stuff, which I've witnessed firsthand appearance. People who I know just came over, get, huge amounts of money to the bank. You know what I'm saying? Getting loans and all kind of crazy stuff. I think that's a little crazy. I think, honestly, probably within 2 to 3 years, if you want to come over here, you want to be a citizen, within 2 to 3 years, you should be making steps to become a citizen.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be able to just come over here and have like the other video that we was watching where they had basically tribunals. They had Muslim tribunals over here that ruled over the Muslim population. That's crazy. That's a little crazy to me. And I agree with you that I think UK is a little bit. They have swallowed that PC pill. It might be the end of them. It might be the end of them, because you can't just do that. And I would, if anybody wants to go to another country and try to do what they're doing in our country, they will not allow it. You will be locked up and you will be deported ASAP even. You know what I'm saying? You stay one day after your visa, they're coming to get you. Period. And I think it's a little crazy. People are defending it. I think it's what you said. It's young and dumb people. It's uninformed people talking too much,
Yes,
and people
exactly.
who have the knowledge letting them talk. I'm sorry. If you don't know about a subject, you shouldn't speak on it. That's how I
Hmm.
feel.
No,
Just like they say, if you don't have nothing good to say, don't say nothing. And it's the same thing. If you don't know about the subject, hey, I don't know about it. This is what I do know about it, and I'll look into it. And that's that. You know, but you having a real true opinion on it really doesn't matter because you don't even have all the facts. In my opinion,
no, I agree. I agree. TBD, thank you, man. See you later, my brother. I just want to show that a little bit, right? That's it. Uh, I just like things that are happening in the UK. Just a little bit, a tidbit of their craziness, right? A lot of the UK citizens are fighting back, talking about it. So it's just a little bit of a thought process, right? But yes, that is it for that one, right? Big bars. That is it for tonight. Thank you for being here, my brother.
thank you, man.
Nah, I love you. I love you. That is it for tonight. Hope you have a good day, good rest of the weekend. Later, my brother.
Later.
Guys, thank you guys for being here. That is it for tonight, right? That is it for tonight. I try to make it about 2 hours or so, right? So I thought it was interesting. I'm gonna watch this clip. I'm gonna watch this video on my own. But yeah, just to get more. I like learning about what's going on the other side. I just wanted a little bit of a thought process with everyone else. But yeah, that's it for tonight, guys. Please check out my other videos. Please like, subscribe if you haven't. Please comment on the other videos. Please check them out. Please check out my YouTube shorts. Right, I'm putting more videos for the YouTube short stuff, so please check that out. But yeah, that is it for tonight. Dizzy, thank you. I thought that was you, right? I thought you were going to come up, so I'm mistaken that whatever that troll for you. So, but thank you for stopping by, Justin. Thank you for stopping by, Evil Eddie. Thank you, my brother. I love this song that you did. Great song, right? Big bars. Thank you for being here. Self-made. Thank you, my brother, for being here. Zyrex. Thank you being here, sister. Machiavelli. Sorry, I couldn't say anything. People were talking, but thank you for stopping by, my brother. AJ, thank you for stopping by. I love you. Why? Hopefully, you have a good, safe trip on your fishing endeavors. Right? Love you, my brother. Miss you. It's been a while. Omni Man. Omni. I keep on thinking about the character, but yes, thank you for being here. Real Rain was here. Thank you for being here, my brother. Laughing Man, I love you. I love you, guys. You guys are amazing. But that is it for tonight. I love you.
No fake heroes coming down the line. Just real people giving real time. Sharing truth when the world feels cold. Keeping human hearts from growing old. Every laugh, every story, every late night call. Tiny sparks keeping hope alive for all. We push back when we stand as one. Even long nights eventually see the sun. Talk louder, stay closer, carry each other forward.